We were already together, if I may say, Martin, me, Alan Lutz, and after the purchasing of the house, they decided in order for us to be sound, we need to have something that is more formal, and that's when they created Reformation Hope. And I believe Martin already explained to you how Reformation Hope came to be about. And when the earthquake hit, we already had our discipleship, a type of Bible classes going on. As a matter of fact, on that Tuesday morning, for a few weeks prior to that, some people told me that the people that are working with the children didn't feed them on time. At that time, we fed them twice a day. So if the children eat at 9 a.m., they're supposed to be fed at least 4:30 p.m. instead of waiting for 6:30. And I had a meeting prior to that day with them, and I explained to them, I want my children to eat at 4:30 p.m. every day. And I made it clear to them, I'm going to fire every last one of you if my children don't eat at 4:30. On that Tuesday, I woke up in the morning, I prayed, as I always do, and I came to the place. I had over 40 pastors and disciples that I'm teaching. Usually I'm a very, very persistent man. I don't get sick. I thank God for that. And from 9:30 to 10, I start feeling not normal. I keep trying to remember what did I eat, because this is not the way I usually feel. By 12, I really feel like I need to stop, but I keep pushing it. And by 1 or 2, I feel like I cannot do it anymore. I feel like I'm falling. I explained to them, I said, guys, I'm going to release you early today because I really don't feel good at all. And we will see the next day. But on my way out, I stopped by the kitchen. When I say kitchen, I don't know what I'm talking about, where they are cooking the food. At that time, we only used charcoal. When they see me, and they use a vent to keep doing this to make the charcoal harder, because it looks like they may not be ready on time, and they know they will lose their job. I made it clear to them. And you can see how they were fighting. And I look at them, and the look I give them, tell them, this is most likely the last day you're gonna be with us here. I didn't tell them I'm leaving, but I left. I go home. I got home, I lie down on a bed that was in the middle of the room. The earthquake hit. The bed hit that wall and hit the other wall, and on its way back, break in the middle. I fell in the middle, and the mattress fell, and the sides just broke apart. And when I was able, I went outside. That's when I realized it was 4:53. I said, my children, because that's exactly the time for them to be inside of the building to eat. And when I look at the area where I was, it was so dusty, I couldn't see other houses. But after a while, I realized the house where I was just a few of the houses that are still standing. There were corpses all over the world, all over the place. Nobody can help nobody. And I walked from Quadribuquet to this place. It took me from 5:15 to 5:20. It took me all the way to 9 p.m. to get to the place. Trees on the ground, overturned vehicles, still with people in them, dead people, people that are still alive, and people are still screaming from under the branches of the trees. It's just indescribable. But me, I care about one thing: get to this place. I want to see what's happening to my children, because if the building fell, I'm not going to have any children left. Unfortunately, for my mind, when I got there, the first thing I realized is the building was flattened. That was the scariest moment of my life. When I realized the building was flattened on the ground, I realized I lost all of my children. But there was some hope. The fence, the block fence we had was falling, all the three-sided, but every panel that has a verse stand. We didn't lose any panel that had a Bible verse on it, but all the wall fell. But I didn't have that big faith to make any consideration of that. When I get there, I start crying, I start screaming, I start calling the children by name, and they keep coming, sitting next to me, and now I try to calm myself down, and I start trying to call them and put them on one side and say, everybody stay on this side. I call this person, stay here, and I keep calling them. And now it's one of my deacons say, Pastor Paul, you don't need to call them. We told you we don't lose anybody. The food was late. You see, sometimes you think you know so much. You think you're the big organizer, you know everything, you know how to solve things, when you don't know anything. God wanted to teach me something. And I really learned my lesson. I can tell you honestly, since then, I never opened my mouth regarding how late our early food has to be ready. Because if it was not for the food that was late, I don't know what my life was going to be.